terms of the application, but in terms of if they see what the charge is, I don't think it should come out of a desirable qualification. I think that it may preclude some people from even applying if they see, well, they're looking for someone who's a member of the chamber, I'm not going to bother. Well, we don't want to do that either. We don't want to limit ourselves. We want to get the best qualified candidates for this committee. I do agree with Mr. Spear in terms of, I think that we would like to have, I think, in my opinion, the 9 members versus the 5 because of the attrition aspect. And there's going to be a great deal of work that needs to be done here. And I hope we have more than 9 people that actually apply for this. I think it's very important and vital for this community.
Any other thoughts?
I think to go back, not specifically what Shep was talking about, but generalities, what we're gonna give them for tools. Because one of the problems with economic development is and when we first talked about it, I talked to Heidi about it, we did some research. We checked with a number of communities, she can probably tell you most of some of them off the top of her head, but we looked at all the economic development committees that have been formed in other towns with a lifespan of between 6 months and a year. Is that right?
Yes.
About 6 months and a year. And so far, none of them have actually been able to accomplish anything of any significance. And one of the problems is the economic climate for us. And so, and I looked into it myself on a national basis because there are a number of national conferences that have been held, and most recently being held in California. And they basically quantified it as a theft committee. In other words, all these people came supposedly to share ideas, but basically what they came to do was find out what's going on in the state and come and steal that project. Because there's not enough growth in the economy, and the only thing you're going to be able to do is to try to go after projects that already exist. So what that means is that this town will be in competition with surrounding towns for the whatever small improvements in the economy there is, but primarily we're talking changes, where one company will go out and another company might go in a place. So whether whether company A goes in to the place where company B was in Wilmington, or whether they come from North Reading, or whether they go into Reading, is something that was going to be determined by what the towns are able to offer. And if those communities if their committees or if their town, or even without a committee, has a better toolbox than we have, then we're not going to, this committee's going to become very frustrated very quickly and have a difficult time accomplishing anything. And I hate to go back to the wastewater thing, but after 12 years ago of wastewater, having difficulty accomplishing something, it basically takes all the starch out of the committee. So if we're going to set this committee up, we need to give them some tools. We need to give them some assurances that we're going to back them and that we're going to try to accomplish some of the things they request. Some of the things I can put in here, like trying to get this designated as economic project area, is that's a good thing, but it's not. It doesn't get us very far if there's no economy to go into that target area. It does give us a little more exposure. Some of the other items that are some of the other jobs or some of the other projects that are described in here will have a surface effect to some extent. It'll be I think it'll be local. I'm not sure how far outside of this town it will go. So I think we really need to look very carefully at what it is we're going to give them for tools and what kind of support we're going to give them to actually affect some of these things. Like, are we willing to give tax breaks from new businesses something? Because that's one of the things that you run into is some of the other communities say, well, we'll give you a tax break, a 50% tax break, or something like that. But here we are talking about trying to get more tax revenue by building our businesses. So somebody's going to have to explain to the town as a whole that giving tax breaks is an incentive to get businesses in, or else there's going to be a backlash from that. Mm-hmm. So again, what are we going to put in their toolbox? What are we going to give them to work with if we set up this committee?
Well, I think I would look at it. We've had discussions with the state on this issue. We've had Mr. What was his name?
Milano. Pete Milano, yep.
Right. He came in. There was a proposal. It was a competitive situation between 3 communities. which we didn't get. But he talked, we've talked about the economic development region, or whatever you call it. But he also brought up some other incentive that the town could offer, associated with basically a staggered increase in, from 0 over 5 years on the tax rate. So there are things that we can do. I think I would charge the committee, right, to go off and, look at the kinds of tools that they might need to help and come back with their recommendations. Also, I assume that they're gonna need some form of a budget. When the IT committee was first formed back before Greg came on board, they met, they came up with a plan. They went to October town meeting, the finance committee back, giving them some capital money that got the thing going. And then they got additional capital the following year. So I think we need the committee to get to work as soon as possible to come up with and identify and define the kinds of tools that might help them do the job.
Have some
Now,
examples.
some of that's gotta come from, input, maybe from Heidi, and maybe we could get, Mr. Milano to come in and talk about some of the state programs that, could be used as a tool. And then we as a board, will have to make decisions on, what we can support.
Yeah,
Mr.
I think the mere fact that there's a joint venture here between CPC and the Board of Selectmen to form this committee should show members that join that committee that there's backing here between two elected boards. That's one. And I think where we start with marketing what we have. I think, in my opinion, what we've done is we sat back and waited for businesses to come. I think we need to go and market this community. So I think the marketing plan has to start, put that piece of the puzzle together. But I do agree with Mr. Messerius. Let the committee come to us and tell us what they need. Our neighbor to the south here, Reading, has been at this for a number of years and been pretty successful, is my understanding. So I don't think they're all failures, but I do agree with you that it needs support from our two boards once they get rolling.
If I may, just three quick things here. One of the places located in Reading, came to North Ringford, and actually they called me up talking to me about it, and when they found out that we didn't have sewer, the septic thing that just completely shut them off and they left.
Sure.
Another question will be that you're gonna run into is, how do we feel about neon lights? I mean, we've already zoned them out, and yet some of the stuff that we have in Reading there, neon is an important part of their signage. Are we willing to bend there? We also have a current application going on for somebody that wants to, set up a business that violates part of what our zoning bylaw is as far as placement of the building and the facing of trees on the street. And where do we bend? I mean, do we tell it's a national company? We just send them on their way because we don't want to make a change or make a variance in our, so that's a question that they're gonna bring. These are real questions that are gonna come to us, and we have to decide whether or not we're willing to begin to make changes or variance in what we have for our zoning bylaw in order to encourage these people to come, or we need to stick to what we have and, as hard and fast rules.
Well, you've just mentioned somebody you've talked to where there's an issue. I think we need a collection of what those barriers in our current bylaws are and review them to determine whether or not we're willing to make changes. I don't know what changes somebody's looking for because I have no idea what they're.
Signage is one of the ones that always come in, they want their signage, this is our moniker, this is our trademark, and we say, sorry, that's has to be our signed by law, you're gonna have to, and if they still wanna come, bad enough, they stay and they modify their signs, and we've been pretty successful with that, because the fact is, this is a very desirable community, it really is. I mean, it's an affluent enough community, and it's, a nice community, it's a veteran community, it's a lot of people, and so it's a very desirable community. So a lot of them have been willing to bend, but we have got them to the point where they say, we
making decisions here.
Yeah.
I'm just-
I think what I'm envisioning for the Economic Committee, Development Committee here, is that it's gonna be a very flexible type of committee. It's gotta be brainstorming and coming up with ideas. Some of those ideas are going to work and some of them are not going to work. But we gotta bring them out and see where we fit. We need to probably first identify what our capability is as we stand right now. And we have certain limitations, but there must be opportunities as well to get us going. But we know we have the wastewater situation, and we need to start looking at that on a what-if basis. So I think the committee's gonna have to be as flexible and as brainstorming as it possibly can, and therefore the CPC and the Board of Selectmen are gonna have to be as flexible as we possibly can. It's vital to this becoming successful. If we gotta eliminate the can'ts and identify the do's and progress that way. And it requires being open-minded in all categories. So that, we need to keep that in mind.
I just think the issues that you raise, I think, will be addressed in the items that, short-term goals and the tasks that Heidi has set out here. Some of which is a survey of the residents and the business community as to what the residents want to see in terms of coming into town, the businesses, what they see in terms of what the barriers of doing business in the town or coming into town. And those issues are going to be brought to the forefront through that survey process. And I think that's how the committee and then you and we can address those issues and see if there's any flexibility. I don't think there's any reason not to do this or form this committee. I think it's a reason to do it and get it going sooner rather than later.
Well, I think the issues, that just discussed in relation to signage in particular, to date, we've made a conscious decision as to what we want to see. And that may be a little too inflexible to allow for a certain amount of development. And I guess, are we at the crossroads where we need to be willing to compromise on some of those things? But to date, the Planning Commission has not seen fit to bring forth any changes in the zoning bylaws to allow some sort of relief or review of those current standards. And are we willing to compromise that at this point? Are we gonna be the last holdout, as far as, Andover's doing their thing, Reading's doing their thing, and there's no other place for anyone else to go but here. So now, okay, so if people want to come here, they have to abide by what we want, or do we want to step up the pace and...
The interesting thing is, when they've come in and said, but this is our corporate image, or this is our corporate logo, and we say, well, fine, but this is North Reading, and we'd like to low-key it a little bit. And they've been more than willing to alter that image a bit and tweak it. And we found that with Walmart. Tony, like, I can't think off the top of my head. but
Walgreens.
Walgreens did that as well. So,
Well, that's fine, but, I also agree that, we need to commit to this organization here, that we are willing to listen and be open to some new ideas. But by the same token, don't want to give them a false impression or false hope and get them frustrated either. So, where the balance is, I'm not quite sure. But there's no doubt that everybody at this table here is committed to the idea here, and we've seen how it seems to be fairly successful just south of the border and in other communities, and it can't hurt. Again, I don't want to burn people out, I don't want to waste their time, and I'd like to